You did it. You found the texts. You saw the receipt. You got the confession. And then you chose the high road. You chose love. You chose forgiveness. You said, I will stay for the kids. I will stay because I love her. You thought your kindness, your mercy, would heal her and make her loyal forever. You thought your forgiveness would be your greatest strength. Today, we are going to look at the cold, brutal truth about the men who forgave their cheating wives. We are going to expose the deep psychological reason why that act of mercy usually backfires and why, for her, forgiveness is rarely seen as love, but as weakness. This is the shocking reality of what happens when you forgive betrayal, and it will save you years of pain. You are a good man. You believe in second chances. When your wife cried and swore it was a one-time mistake, your heart broke. You thought, I will be the bigger man. I will fix this. You chose the hard path. You chose to stay. But here is what society and cheesy movies never tell you. Forgiveness without consequences is seen by her primal brain as an admission that you don't value yourself enough to leave. You think you are teaching her love and compassion. She thinks you are teaching her that she can betray you and still keep the house, the money, and the comfort. You are trying to build trust again. She is losing respect for the man who let her do it. The brutal truth is this: a man who forgives a betrayal without fundamentally changing the power dynamic is just buying time until the next betrayal. You need to understand the deeper game here. If you are tired of the mind games, if you are ready to learn the real cost of being too nice, you need to be here. We speak the uncomfortable truth that saves men's lives. So, do yourself a huge favor and hit that subscribe button right now. Don't let your biggest mistake be made in the name of love. Let's look at the first story. We will call him David. David caught his wife Lisa having a short affair with a coworker. David was a wreck. He went to therapy alone. He begged her to stay. He told her, I will do anything to save our marriage. He forgave her completely. He thought he was being a hero. But what happened next was shocking. Lisa started treating him with contempt. She would criticize his clothes, his job, even the way he ate. She would bring up the affair in arguments, not to apologize, but to shut him down. If you were a real man, she would snap, I wouldn't have been lonely enough to cheat. David became the loser in his own home. He was always walking on eggshells, trying to prove he was worthy of her forgiveness. She started seeing him not as her husband, but as a desperate puppy who would tolerate anything. The forgiveness didn't bring them closer. It created a giant wall of disrespect. 3 years later, Lisa left him for the coworker she swore was just a mistake. What was she thinking? She was thinking, he is so afraid of being alone that he will let me treat him like trash. He has no strength. I can't respect a man who can't enforce his own boundaries. David's forgiveness was seen as weakness, and that killed her desire for him forever. This brings us to the second story. Let's talk about a man named Kevin. Kevin found out his wife had cheated after 15 years of marriage. They had 3 kids and a big life together. Kevin's only focus was the children. He decided to stay, not for his wife, but for the kids. He forgave her, but he kept the hurt deep inside. Their life became a transaction. They lived together like roommates. They went through the motions, family dinners, holidays, but the love was dead. Kevin became cold, resentful, and bitter. He couldn't trust her, so he monitored her phone constantly. She hated being watched, and he hated being the cop. They were miserable. The shocking part? 5 years later, his oldest son looked at him and said, "Dad, why are you two still together? You look like you hate each other." Kevin realized he didn't save his kids from divorce. He trapped them in a frozen, loveless home. He sacrificed his dignity and his happiness, and all he got was a toxic environment. His forgiveness was a lie he told himself to avoid the pain of divorce, but he created a different, longer pain for everyone. He was the hero who sacrificed himself, but his wife and children saw a man who had lost his light and his strength. If you are learning things right now that are making you see your own situation in a harsh light, that's good. That light is your power. Don't let these lessons go to waste. Hit that subscribe button right now and join the few men who choose strength over comfortable lies. Now listen to the third story. This is the winner. Let's talk about Robert. Robert caught his wife cheating. The truth was undeniable. Robert didn't cry, he didn't yell, he didn't beg. He went ice cold. He sat her down and said, "I love you, but my self-respect comes first. You have destroyed the foundation. You need to move out, and we need to separate. We will only talk about the kids." He put up a massive, high-value boundary. He detached completely. He forced her to feel the total consequence of her actions, the loss of him. She panicked. She begged. She tried to gaslight him. She tried to apologize. But Robert held his frame. He focused on his mission, his work, and his gym. He showed her he didn't need her. After 6 months of intense detachment, only then, and this is the key, when she realized she had lost him for real, did she start to truly change. Robert eventually let her back into his life only after she had proven, through massive effort and change, that she was willing to submit to his frame and re-earn his trust. He didn't forgive her. He made her earn her way back. The shocking outcome? They rebuilt their marriage not on shaky forgiveness, but on a new foundation where she saw him as a man of absolute, unshakable strength. She respected him because he was willing to lose her to save himself. The real lesson is that forgiveness is a death sentence for the relationship dynamic unless it is earned at a very high price. You cannot forgive without a massive consequence. You cannot just go back to normal. The man who forgives easily is seen as a man without a backbone. The man who demands that she earn back his trust, dignity, and commitment is the man she can still respect. Your loyalty is a sacred currency. If you give it away after betrayal, you devalue your entire existence. The men who forgave and became bitter losers are the ones who sacrificed their respect for a fake peace. The man who wins is the one who knew his value and forced the betrayer to prove she was worth a second chance. If this video has finally shown you the truth about the hidden cost of forgiveness, don't let this knowledge be just a story. Subscribe to this channel now and commit to being a man who respects himself more than he fears being alone. So, here is the smart question I want you to answer in the comments below. If you forgive a cheating partner, do you think the act of forgiveness is truly for the partner, or is it a selfish act to avoid the pain of leaving? Drop your honest opinion in the comment section. Let's get a real conversation going about self-respect and the true meaning of forgiveness. And make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification. We're going deeper into how to live a life built on strength.